I'm no drama queen. But Patriots backup quarterback Brian Hoyer practiced in Brady's place because of that injured hand. And at last check, Jimmy Garoppolo is enjoying his offseason. New England is favored by more than a touchdown in this one. So what chance do the Jags have here? Head coach Doug Marrone got some interesting advice on this.
Want to beat the Patriots? Here's how. Advice from your #1 fan is the Bulls first grade. That's the one thing I will say about this week. It's kind of thrown me off. I find it hard to believe how so many people have an opinion on how to beat the New England Patriots, and no one's really have done that.
So give it up to the first grade class at Bulls School, who gave Marrone a whole packet with advice to taking down the Pats.
That's all.
See, advice from grade schoolers aside, and it's adorable, really. I'm surprised more schools haven't done this in and around the Jacksonville area. What is the key to this matchup?
Well, they haven't been in the championship game, I think, since '99. So the kids have gone on to college.
Yeah, so the last kids to write those letters were the parents of the kids writing these letters.
Right.
I mean, Doug Marrone is right that it is hard to come up with a calculated, educated, realistic plan to beat New England, especially in playoff games in Foxborough. But the one thing that Jacksonville has on its side, and I know Doug Marrone is preaching this to Jacksonville. There's been 4 times you had this type of matchup where you had the NFL's leading passer against the #1 pass defense it's happened since 1990. This will be the 4th time. If Doug Marrone, if he's on the right side of history, they will be 4-0 after this game because the #1 defense has shut down the #1 passer in the 3 previous times. They're 3-0. So the path to victory is this defense. Defense wins championships. Our boy Ray Lewis talks about that's what got him 2 championships. Jacksonville's path to victory is by shutting down Tom, making them one-dimensional, which they might be if he has a serious hand injury, and creating turnovers. That's the only way you're going to be able to beat New England, and that's especially the only way that you're going to be able to beat them in Foxborough.
So I know everyone's going to focus on strength versus strength. Patriots offense against Jags defense. It's the most interesting matchup. It involves Tom Brady. It involves all the great characters and players on the Jags defense. I want to flip it around just for a moment because here's what we know about the Patriots offense. They're getting to 20 points. They get to 20 over the last 3 years in games that Brady's played all the way through. They've been held under 19 twice.
In 3 years.
In the last 3 years, it's happened twice, held under 19. Once a 16-3 win against Denver, where they really took their foot off the gas last year. They probably could have scored more. And one, a 20-18 loss to Denver in the AFC Championship game a couple years ago. So Denver's the only team that's held Tom Brady under 19 points in the last 3 seasons. So the reason I mention that is the Jags defense can play great. Offense still got to get to 20. Or the team as a whole still has to get to 20. I don't think you can hold this Patriots. I don't think you can beat this Patriots team no matter how good your defense is, 13-6. Remember when Ray was out here and I asked him, how many points did you guys feel like you guys needed? And he said 3. We only needed 3. And while that seemed hyperbolic, that team only allowed 10 points per game. This Jags defense, best defense in the NFL, they still allow 16 points per game. That's on league average. The Patriots will get to their 20. So how can the Jags get to that point total? To me, that is almost the underrated key of this football game, and I don't see them being able to do that unless Leonard Fournette has a massive football game.
They could do it with the defense. The defense could create turnovers. They could score a touchdown. They could put them in field goal range with a field goal. I think one of the major differences is Pittsburgh's defense was not great in the red zone. They did not slow down Jacksonville. I believe New England's defense, they will tighten up. Jacksonville might get some yards on them, but they are exceptional in the red zone. So those trips, if Jacksonville has one less trip in the red zone yesterday, where they converted to a touchdown, they lose to Pittsburgh. Right? But when they got into the red zone, they got touchdowns. And that was a huge part to the game because at the end, you know, that was a big difference. So New England, people that say they don't like their defense, they give up a lot of yards. Man, it's points. How many points will they be able to negate one from the red zone?
Who's had the most success against the Patriots in the Super Bowl in the last couple of years?
The Giants.
The Giants and Tom Coughlin. How much of this week is going to be about Doug Marrone knocking on Tom Coughlin's door? And I understand Blake Bortles is no Eli Manning, but how much is going to be like, okay, you game planned against Tom Brady and a good portion of that offense?
I want to make a point on that because I've heard so many people bring up that exact point. The Giants, what's the Giants' methodology? What was the Broncos' methodology? It seems to me their methodology of beating the Patriots it's nothing special about the Patriots or those teams. It's about the personnel they had. Because what's their methodology? Get to the quarterback without having to send extra guys. Get to the quarterback with a four-man rush. Cece, tell me if I'm wrong. Isn't that every team's hope? Isn't that every game plan?
But the Giants made it work, and everyone goes in trying to do that.
Every team can't do that.
Agreed.
Every team does not have Pro Bowl corners. Every team does not have the type of rushers that they had that compile the type of sacks. So, no, they want to, I mean, they say they want to get pressure, but they know they got to blitz to get pressure. So, no, every team's job is not to say, we're going to rush forward today because they know they can't get there.
Go ahead, Jenna.
I was going to say, then how did the Giants figure out a way to do it?
They had the guys. They had the personnel, which is why...
The NASCAR package.
Right. They could put 4D... Go ahead.
Yep, they could have a rotation of 7 guys, and when they got to 3rd down and long, they put in almost all speed guys. But the combination of what they had up front and their linebackers, man, they were physical in the secondary. They realized you had to bump these guys off the line of scrimmage. So collectively, the front end tied up with the back end, and that's what led to the victory.
And you don't see hints of that with this Jacksonville team?
No, I absolutely do see hints of that because of the point that I'm making is a lot of people are drawing the Tom Coughlin comparison. I think Cris Carter could be the president of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Their game plan is going to be the same. It's about the guys. It's about whether it's Justin Tucker, Calais Campbell.
The biggest difference is when you have your voice in the room, you have proof. Tom Coughlin, I will listen to him on anything football, and especially how do you beat the Patriots? Doug Marrone said it. All these people out here giving advice on how to beat the Patriots, don't nobody know better than Tom Coughlin. So you can believe Tom Coughlin. He got Calais Campbell. He got A.J. Bouye. All these people came with Tom Coughlin. Doug Marrone's physical style, it matches Tom Coughlin. If you think Doug Marrone, man, he's a good football coach. If you're not taking advantage of the asset in Tom Coughlin, you are naive. Tom Coughlin is playing a bigger role in this game than the other 2 victories in the playoff.
I got to tell you, after that segment, now I'm rooting more for Jacksonville. I go segment to segment. Seriously. Do not listen to me when it comes to betting.
I'm the resident gambling guy on the show. Vegas did take note of this. Vegas took note of this. The line moved more from Wednesday to Thursday than the line would have moved if Rob Gronkowski was ruled out of the game.
Wow.
The line moved 1.5, 2 points in some spots. Gronk's worth between 1 point and 1.5 points. So this was a significant line move from the Pats to 9.5 point favorites.
And tell people what that means. That's the people are shifting where they're betting.
All of a sudden, a lot of money came in on Jacksonville. Now, maybe that was just Joe Public who saw our show, saw Skip and Shannon, said, oh, my God, Brady hurt his hand and might be broken. Let me bet a bunch of money on the Jags. Or maybe it's sharp bettors. Maybe it's people with information saying, oh, there's now value on the Jaguars. But the line moving that much with one thing changing, to me, makes it noteworthy. Brady then missing practice. So I knew the line moved before I knew Brady missed practice. Brady then missing practice compounds it. But I also have to say, the Pats, if Brady had to play left-handed, then this quarterback matchup's a draw because they're up against Blake Bortles. This game's in Gillette. The Jags are coming off consecutive, very difficult playoff games, very different playoff games. The first one was a slugfest 10-3. The second one, a high-scoring duel. The Patriots, meanwhile, had a week off and then blew out the Titans. This is if you thought the Pats were going to win prior to this, to me, this is not reason to change your opinion. The Pats, in my eyes, are still heavy favorites going into this football game because of the experience, because of where the game is, and because no one thinks Brady's not going to play. No one thinks Brady's going to be out of the football game, just maybe not quite as effective as you would have hoped he could be.
Question for you. Just if we talk about him changing the game plan, what does it mean for the way, and I don't know this, the way you grip the football? Because you throw, right, with your fingertips. So what is the fact that your thumb is injured? Does that affect the distance he can throw, the velocity that he can throw?
Right. They haven't been specific as far as is it the hand, is it a thumb, or a finger? If it's thumb, which a lot of quarterbacks hurt their thumbs more so when they're throwing because they release, their thumb goes down, and it typically hits someone's helmet. So it's typically some type of bone bruise. Hope it's not the same bruise as Sam Bradford, because if not, he's going to lose his hand. But it stings for a couple days, and I could see from a caution standpoint, also it makes sense why they had an X-ray. All right, if there was some immediate swelling, immediately get an X-ray at the facility to make sure that you know that it's not broken. And then the next day, you're going to keep it compressed to make sure that the swelling and try to get it to die down before game day. New England is very, very fortunate. It's going to be unseasonably warm this weekend, and that is going to help. If it had been the normal in the 20s, wind chill in the teens, that would affect a quarterback's hand more so. And anytime you see Tom Brady wearing a glove, because he does not like to wear a glove, that's an alarm, too, right there, that something is a little bit different than what we're used to seeing.
Or that they want to cover up whatever it is and not let anyone see. And I know you think Mother Nature, as well as the refs and everyone else, is rooting for the Patriots. So there you go, Nick.
I don't know who's rooting for the Pats, but I do know this. We thought it being unseasonably warm 48 hours ago, that was good for the Jags.
Right.
That all of a sudden the Jags aren't going to have to deal with the elements. It's interesting now with this, it could tilt it to where the Patriots are happy about this. I can't hear this, though, and not think about what was the biggest story of the Patriots' regular season, which is trading Jimmy Garoppolo. Like, I understand they have to deal with where they're at right now. I understand Brian Hoyer's their backup quarterback. He has experience in the system. But this is a team that doesn't carry three quarterbacks, that had, without question, going into this year, the best quarterback situation in the league's best backup quarterback, and a third stringer who has shown he can start games and win games for multiple teams in this league. To go from that to be in the AFC Championship game where Brian Hoyer who hasn't taken a meaningful snap for the Patriots in years, where Brian Hoyer's your backup quarterback, it does make me think about not only that, the article about why Garoppolo was traded, the timing where he was traded, that entire circumstance.
CC, what would have to happen for Brian Hoyer to be playing football on Sunday?
Oh, a disaster. They didn't send something from North Korea and it's didn't hit us if he gets in the game. I mean, it's...
So he's going to play with his thumb like this. I mean, they have to be. Could he be playing and they're losing so badly they pull him?
Let's not forget, Tom Brady is a football player. All right, he's going to be out there. That's his team. All right, it's his legacy at stake. All right, let's not get carried away. If he can't play, if he can't grip the football, Bill and them are going to make the best decision for the football team, just like they do anything else. Tom Brady will get a chance to play. Now, can Jacksonville take advantage of the injury? And he's going to be very fortunate because it's a lot easier to grip the football when it's above freezing, which it's going to be on Sunday.
Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get the latest from the show. Also, be sure to check out more of the best clips from First Things First, or go watch a few segments from our other shows on FS1.